It's a new day. It's a new show. We're going to take a little bit of a turn on today's show. We're going to talk about something that Clay actually was looking into. It's the Lesser Key of Solomon. If you don't know who King Solomon is, it's based on a pseudo I can't speak. Pseudo-depigraphical composite text ascribed to King Solomon. And anyways, I think that this is going to be an interesting show to be able to whatever. I'll re-record this later, but as it is.
Natural.
Hello.
Right, nothing wrong with it. Hello.
Yeah, Solomon. So King Solomon was a monarch of ancient Israel and the son and successor of King David. He's a real person. According to the Hebrew Bible in the Old Testament, he's described as having the penultimate ruler. I'm sorry, having been, man, I need to learn how to read again. Been the penultimate ruler of an amalgamated Israel and Judah. The dates of Solomon's reign are 970 to 931 BCE. After his death, his son and successor, I don't know how to say his name, but I guess it's Rehoboam.
Yes. That's pretty good.
Would adapt a harsh policy toward the northern tribes, eventually leading to the splitting of the Israelites between the kingdom of Israel and the kingdom of Judah. Following the split,
this is a key moment.
Patrilineal descendants ruled over Judah alone.
So this is going right into when the 5 tribes split. And this goes back to that thing I was sharing with you that was shared with me about what's actually in the Ark of the Covenant. It's the 5 tribes agreeing on these certain principles, and they're all in the box.
I think this is way after the 5 tribes, but
I know. No. This is before. You're saying before Jesus. You said 970 to 931. This is prior to Jesus.
Right, but I mean, I think the 5 tribes that you're talking about, I think that was way before this, because he split the kingdom of Israel.
Oh, okay. Well, there's still there's some more splitting going on here, more splitting up yet again.
I'm not seeing anything about, but we haven't really gotten into that.
No, and I don't mean to take you off your course, sir.
No,
please proceed with your thought.
We're not here to talk biblical. We are not biblical scholars. We are not.
We don't know anything.
We don't know jack shit.
Now, I went out of my way to not curse like we talked about last night.
I can
say you
can say that.
All right. Okay.
That word is acceptable because it's
just shit.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody understands we're not claiming to be any kind of actual
we're learning with everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. This is an experiment in fun and learning. So keep us going the direction you got it going, Michael, because I like this.
The historicity.
Yes.
Historicity. Okay.
Let's get to know who Solomon is just a bit more.
No, we don't really need to deal with that. Let's see. The Bible says Solomon built the first temple in Jerusalem, dedicating the temple to Yahweh, or God in Judaism. I don't know if I'm saying Yahweh correctly. I don't know if it's Yahweh or...
Doesn't fucking matter. Doesn't matter.
Solomon is portrayed as wealthy, wise, powerful, and was one of the 48 Jewish prophets. He is also the subject of many references and legends, most notably in the Testament of Solomon. This is where we're going with that.
Not authored by himself.
No. The historicity of Solomon is highly debated. Current consensus states that regardless of whether or not a man named Solomon truly reigned as king over Israel and Judah, the biblical description of his apparent empire's lavishness is probably an anachronistic exaggeration.
Damn it.
It's inconsistent. For those of you playing along.
Yeah, for those of you keeping markers on everything. So it could be of myth, of legend, or complete rubbish.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of guys out there that
Insist.
no. They are like super biblical scholar guys.
Yeah.
One of them did. Yeah, I don't know if he's doing it anymore, but he would go chapter and verse through the Bible and explain what it meant. And
Yeah.
he's a biblical scholar.
Okay.
There's another guy on TikTok who is also a scholar and very, very well versed. And I got into him because what he does is there's this thing called stitching on TikTok.
Yeah.
Where one creator can duet or stitch a video with another creator and make new content. Well, what he does is he takes these people that are saying, well, this is what's going on here, and this is what this means, and yada, yada, yada. And then the scholar guy, the dude has like a PhD and whatever he's got, Bible stuff, will correct them.
Okay.
Throughout the whole thing. It's really, really interesting. He's not being a dick about it. He's just going through and saying, you're misinterpreting this. This is what's this is that. And, and if you want more information, go read this to get a better view of what
grasp.
Yeah. Of what's been written.
The content really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I always found that. I mean,
interesting.
I find biblical history interesting, not, and I'm not religious in any sense of the term, but as history or even fiction or anything else like that, all of this stuff is interesting because the way that it's written and the way that it can be interpreted, but the history behind it and all the stuff that, like what we're going to talk about today, all of that stuff is just, it's amazing in terms of what people have been able to extract from the text. So,
well, everybody has their own way that they decipher information for certain.
Yeah, that's true.
We agree on a common reality, but we can disagree about as many of the trivial little things or even the important things and what their definition is or what they are supposed to super represent for everyone.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of times people might have their own interpretation that just fits their own way that they go about their perspective of this planet and their existence. So I know that there are people that are certainly the best study of certain aspects of things and almost can't be toppled as far as their knowledge is concerned and their expertise. But I think, again, a lot of times when it comes to like things like the Bible or anything to do with spirituality or things that affect you as an individual, as far as have an emotional impact on your life, like religion, things like that, are things that you think a lot about. I think people should have their right to interpret it for themselves based on the information they're be giving and not be told, no, that's wrong. You're understanding it incorrectly. It really means this. So that's one thing I always had a big problem with. But sometimes it has to mean just that. So
yeah, words have meaning. And that's what it comes to, like that scholar guy. Like people will interpret the Bible and then they'll say things like, like I said, this means this and this means this. And he's like, no, it doesn't. Like he'll correct them on proper ways, like the Yahweh thing that I brought up, right? Yeah, that's just commonality. That's just common language stuff, right? That's not even how you pronounce the name.
Right. We're talking from a scholastic point of view. He's just basically, he's got them, he's got them.
Not scholastic. The correct.
Well, that's what I mean. From what would you call it? like the curriculum. If the curriculum is meant to be taught one way, it's not meant to be interpreted as whatever you want. Like I can't go 4 + 4 = 9.
Well, you can.
I can, but
Maybe
I'm going to
right.
be told I'm incorrect. I might be right in my own little world, but it really doesn't. It equals 8 so
Right.
far.
Right. But I don't know if curriculum's the right word, but we can use that. But what it comes down to is, you know, he's not saying that, you know, you can interpret it in any other way. What he's saying is like scholarly, as you said.
Right. He's saying what they were trying to convey was this.
No. He's not saying what they were trying to
No.
convey. What he's saying is this is what this means.
Okay.
And there is no other interpretation.
Okay. All right. It's like stereo instructions. It works one way.
Exactly. You know, and then he'll go into other texts and goes, and this text here, it can be interpreted this way, but most people, most theologians, I guess is what they are, would say that this is actually what this means. You know, based off of this word and based off of the archaeology of, or the building of the structures of this story.
Right.
So, but for the most part, you're right. It comes down to interpretation.
Right.
So, and everybody's going to interpret their own way.
Is it still up for debate whether Jesus may have been colored or?
We all know that Jesus was Middle Eastern,
more on the darker side, less on the red beard and
he's definitely not white.
Yeah.
He's not a ginger.
He ain't a ginger, man. Sorry, man.
But he's definitely more Middle Eastern.
Right.
So Syrian, or
I was going to say
Palestinian, or whatever.
I was going to say Trojan.
No, he's Jewish.
Jewish, yeah. Just like the Spartans.
Yeah,
from Turkey.
No,
not like the Spartans. Where were you reading about our man Solomon? Are you getting it off the Wick or?
Yeah, off Wikipedia.
Are you? I didn't go look. So what else does it say about him? Does it say how long he lived? Or if he had any kids, children, offspring? Did he continue the family line?
I mean, is it important to?
I'm just curious. I want to know a little bit about the guy before I jump into his grimoire.
Yeah, see, Solomon was born in Jerusalem, second child of David and Bathsheba, the widow of Uriah the Hittite, for all of you scholars out there. The first child, unnamed in that account, a son conceived adulterously during Uriah's lifetime, had died 7 days after birth. That has nothing to do with anything. Solomon had 3 full brothers born to Bathsheba: Nathan, Shammua, and Shobab. Besides 6 known older half-brothers born of as many mothers. The biblical narrative shows that Solomon served as a peace offering between God and David due to David's adulterous relationship with Bathsheba. In an effort to hide this sin, for example, he sent the woman's husband to battle. Let's see, after he died, David was able to finally marry Bathsheba as punishment. The first child died. All right, got that.
Interesting.
Doesn't really say. Let's see. The life of Solomon is primarily described in 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, and 2 Chronicles. His 2 names are traditionally taken to mean peaceful and friend of God, considered predictive of the character of his reign. Some scholars have suggested that the name Solomon means his Shalim. Shalim, I guess that's what it means. Shalim or Shalom, referring to the tutelary deity or deity of Jerusalem during the Bronze Age. Okay.
I think it's kind of
Jewish.
I think it's kind of question marky that he was conjuring angels and demons, but they're still like, he's a good guy. He's a great guy, great leader, good guy. We like him. Wouldn't that have been extremely taboo, or maybe not at the time? They hadn't gone to a one god religion yet. They were still on many gods potentially.
To
Right?
answer your question about children, yeah, I mean,
Yeah. The whole let's have one God thing kind of went around the whole Jesus Christ thing. Before that, it was, oh, I'm on Zeus today, and then next season we want rain, so it's going to be so and so, but we can go over and talk to such and such about whatever. And
well, the whole I saw a thing on the whole of Christianity and how it came about, and it was used by the Romans to put fear in people. So the fear of God, right? And then it just took off from there. Now, however true that is, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a biblical scholar, but there is evidence that the Romans were slowly converting everything over to a one God system. That's why Zeus looks like God looks like Zeus or Odin,
right.
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines. So you figure out his lineage from there.
No, I'm good. He sounds like he liked to have a lot of intercourse.
Yeah.
It's good to be king.
Yeah.
These girls are worn out. Bring me some more.
Let's see here.
Yes, my king.
King Solomon is a central biblical figure who, according to the Hebrew Bible, was the builder of the first temple of Jerusalem. We already mentioned that. The last ruler of the United Kingdom of Israel. After a reign of 40 years, he died at about 55 years old. So about 3 years from where I am right now.
Yeah, that's a long life for him back then.
Well,
you know, it's
I'm going
weird.
to find out that that's a big pile of bullshit. People lived a while. When there was no society, shortened life terms. But once society started to become, let's say, modern for them, the lifetime would expand greatly. So people living till 60, 70, 80 years old is not uncommon. Which is something that we've all been force fed into believing that, oh, they only live to 40 years old or 30 years old. 30 years old was old.
Right.
For peasants, maybe, but prior to the reign of kings and stuff like that, the average age of 30 or whatever it was mostly due to war. So
right. Yeah, it's crazy. The amount of war, it's amazing. You can look that up on Wikipedia too, and you'll be shocked how much documentation they have, how many records they kept of how many wars there's been and how many people actually perished.
Yeah.
Have you ever taken a look at that? Yeah, it's pretty makes you scratch your head why we've been killing each other since the beginning.
Because we can. There's land and God ain't making any more of it.
Right.
Somebody.
So
he reigned for 40 years. So that means he was king at 15 years old.
Right. Like we've seen in some of the movies, it's like they take the throne at a very, very young age.
Yeah.
They probably aren't even calling down any shots. Some of them are so young.
So upon Solomon's death, his son Rehoboam succeeded him. 10 of the tribes of Israel refused him as king. And then that's when they split the monarchy into northern kingdom under Jeroboam. And while Rehoboam continued to reign over the smaller southern kingdom of Judah, henceforth the two kingdoms were never united again.
And still at large.
Yep. According to Jewish tradition, King Solomon wrote 3 books of the Bible: Mishlei, or Book of Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and Song of Songs. Let's see. Let's just get down to here. Where are we? Boom, 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 boom. Literature, film, music. Come on, where's the... There's a whole thing on the damn thing that we were going to talk about.
Yes.
The Key of Solomon, right? Lesser Key of Solomon.
Yeah. Yes. There's the key and the lesser. There's the Les Paul and the
Leo Fender.
And the, yeah.
Musicians will get that one.
I hope so.
The Seal of Solomon. This is one of the things that we're going to be talking about, is a legendary signet ring attributed to Solomon in medieval mystical traditions, from which it developed in parallel with Jewish mysticism, Islamic mysticism, and Western occultism. It is the predecessor to the Star of David, the contemporary cultural and religious symbol of the Jewish people.
Yes.
Don't know why they needed to add that in, but it is often depicted in the shape of a pentagram or a hexagram. Good.
That is incorrect. It's not a pentagram.
It is often depicted in the shape of either a pentagram or a hexagram.
Oh,
and
okay.
The Star of David is in...
So they have a 5 and a 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pentagram is that. Yes. So
pentagram is 5.
In religious lore, look, Wikipedia is not always correct. We know that the Star of David is always, not always, but majority of the time is a hexagram. We know that.
Hexagram.
The ring is described as...
It's a triangle pointed up with a triangle pointed down folded over it. That's what a hexagram is.
Well, it's 2 equilateral triangles overlaid on top of each other.
Correct.
So you're right. Regardless of anything else.
What were we getting to? You were
the Lesser Key of Solomon. That's where I was getting.
You were dying to make a point, though.
For what? The pentagram hexagram.
Oh, is that where we're going? Okay.
No, there was no point. I mean,
okay.
you were right. It's the way that it was set up. It's just,
yeah. So, of course, my attraction to all this was supposedly here we had this esteemed king who conjured a bunch of, I don't know if you want to call them demons, entities, spirits, 72 of them. And this is the book essentially that gives you the recipe for how to do it and how he did it. He's not being greedy or secretive about this. This is his grimoire that I have in my hand. And this one is the Lesser Key of Solomon, the Book of Evil Spirits, interpreted by Dr. L.W. De Lawrence. And some time ago, they use the word Goetia. That is to describe the type of book this is, I guess, right? Because it's almost like a journal or a log book in a way, I guess. Sometimes they call it grimoire. I'm trying to see if it printed anything I asked for. It did. Okay. The reason I brought this up is because earlier today I was just reading because I ran across it on, dare I say again, the Internet Archive, and started to read this, just this sort of the, well, actually it's the first chapter that stuck out to me. And this book is, in the beginning it says, like, notice to the student. It's not always convenient for the student to obtain any of the precious metals such as gold or silver to trace their talismans and seals upon. In fact, metal is used very little today for this purpose, and most everybody uses virgin parchment paper. So in other words, already at the beginning of this book, they're telling the student of magic that they don't have to, like, if the spell says get a piece of copper and put it in bathe it in the moonlight, you don't have to go through all that crap. The contemporary at this time spell achiever is just using a piece of parchment paper now, instead of, you know, hand pounding out a piece of silver and then etching a symbol or sigil into it. So I'm just bringing this up for just something that stuck out to me, but I do think it's interesting what we have going on here. And essentially what we have going on is a king who claims that he conjured 72 different angels and demons and had them do basically his bidding, and what that entailed. And let me go back over to because this is in print as much as I had hoped for. Go ahead.
Hold on, before you continue.
Uh-huh.
So L.W. de Lawrence, just gonna put this out there.
Okay.
Is a snake oil salesman, piece of shit human being.
Okay.
He was born in Cleveland, Ohio, and the farthest he's ever traveled is Canada and some of the American Midwest and to Chicago.
Okay.
So my issue with dudes that write things like this, the Lesser Key of Solomon and whatnot, is the fact that when research is done on them or checking on them is done, and they've never traveled farther than
the bathroom,
600 miles from their home,
right?
You know, so
I'm not getting a lot of research there. He's not exactly Indiana Jones.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of where I was going with that. Let's see. His publications, including his edition of the 6th and 7th books of Moses. Where did he get this information? That's what I want to know.
From Moses.
Influenced the practice of magic among the African diaspora in the Americas.
Okay.
As well as sub-Saharan Africa. It's people born in Americas with partial, predominant, or complete sub-Saharan African ancestry. They're descendants of persons enslaved in Africa and transferred to the Americans.
Okay.
So, anyways, I just wanted to put that out there, that
I'm glad you did.
The stuff that we're reading is still of interest.
Right. It's probably, like you said, it's probably another Necronomicon offering.
Yeah.
And when does it say? Because I didn't look when this was even published originally. Let me go back. I'm showing this one. Oh, you don't have a copy of it in front of you. Do you want a copy in front of you?
I have the Testament of Solomon, and I have the Lesser Key of Solomon in front of me.
That's what I have in front of me.
I have the etymology and sources. Let's see. This is what they say. You want, if you want to read it, it's up to you.
Well, mine starts out with a digital Google copy. It goes right into the cover of the book.
I don't have the book in front of me. I have the Wikipedia page.
Oh, you want the book?
No.
Okay. I'm looking at
not right now. I mean, I want to keep the
I'm sorry.
Page while you
copyright 1916 by the Lawrence Scott and Company. So 1916, so right around while World War I's going on, or was it already over?
1916 was World War One.
Yeah. So I got to say this. I mean, even if he is a snake oil salesman, he's a good one, because I mean the symbols in this book are amazing, and even the way it reads is pretty. I mean, you would, if you didn't know better, he'd have you going, I think. So,
well, he's been accused of stealing occult books from other people.
Okay, and just getting away with some plagiarism type stuff, or lifting some materials out of them, maybe.
I would assume so. He died in 1936. So,
he didn't live long.
Yeah, it doesn't say 1868 to 36. So 50 years.
He did all right.
He had a spiritual supply mail order house. He was a pioneer in the business of supplying magical and occult goods by mail order in his distribution of public domain books such as The Secret of the Psalms, etc., etc., etc. He had a great and lasting effect on the African American urban hoodoo community in the southern United States, and as well as the development of Obia. I don't know, Obai, Obai, Obeayi.
O-E-A.
No, O-B.
Oh.
B as in boy.
O-B.
A-Y-I. Obai.
A-Y. I don't know what it is.
It's an African diasporic spell casting and healing traditions found in its voodoo practice.
Voodoo. It's voodoo, baby. Voodoo.
The Lawrence Scott and Company had a reputation for pirating the books of other occultists. He wrote his own works, including The Master Key, a personal development book, and written some other books with his fellow Chicago resident, the prolific New Thought and yoga author, William Walker Atkinson. So
I'll say this. No one has anything bad to say about yoga. No one.
Oh, as long as you don't go around, self-proclaiming that you are a yogi,
yeah,
everything's good.
Well, some people do.
Yeah, and they're full of shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I don't really pay attention to what people are doing. They either do it or they don't. It's not my business.
Yeah,
but
it's those people.
I've heard nothing negative about it. That's for sure. Everybody's like, "Oh my god, it saved me from this. It helped me with that." I'm like, then they're always like, "You should try it." I'm like, "Huh."
It's supposed to help you limber up.
Yeah,
it's supposed to help you deal with pain better and fix a lot of problems with arthritis and muscle pain and
shortness of breath.
Yeah, just a bunch of stuff,
right?
Because it stretches you and it helps you relax, and it allows your body to readjust into a normal state,
a normal posture.
Yeah. Like David Goggins. Have you ever heard of David Goggins?
I want to say I may have, but I don't know who he is.
In a nutshell, David Goggins is one of those guys that he was a Navy SEAL. He wanted to become a Ranger, like all the special forces. Like he was in all of them except for one. And when he was younger, he was, as he says, he was fat, super fat, right? And got into problems and got his way out of it, but started working out. And when he started working out, he was having some pain problems. And this is where I'm going with the yoga stuff. I'm skipping over a whole lot of David.
Okay. It's okay.
But he started having pain problems. So he went to the doctor, and the doctor's prescribing him medicine and all this other crap, and to like arthritis medicine, whatever else, right?
Right.
For all this pain. And he just like out of the blue met a guy that was into yoga and stretching and this and that. And he told David, "Hey, look, if you're having pain, go to this doctor, start stretching."
Yeah.
He's like, "You're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm having pain because of this." Because he was just locked into one idea of why he was in pain, right?
Right.
And he's like, no, just open your mind a little bit. Just go, trust me, go do this. So he goes, and the doctor's like, "Dude, you got a real problem here." He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Your skeletal structure is for a man that's like 6'2", 6'3", or whatever, right?
Right.
Your muscle structure is for a man that's 5'11". You have too much muscle."
Oh boy.
So it's compacting onto your bones,
holding them down. Yeah.
He's like, "Lay off the weightlifting. You're lifting way too many weights. That's why you're in pain."
Yeah.
Now moving on from that for a second, when Will Smith was doing the Muhammad Ali movie,
Right.
he complained about the same exact thing, which is I started working out, and all of a sudden I was in such pain that I could, I couldn't do a lot. So I had to lose all this muscle weight.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just that he had to lose the muscle weight, is that he didn't realize that he had packed on so much muscle for a body of his type. Let's say he's 6'2" as well.
Right.
But,
But that was not his physique. That was not his. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, so David Goggins did that. So David Goggins, according to him, and he's a very focused individual, does yoga and stretching for like 2 or more hours a day.
Right.
Like, I don't understand how anybody can do that, but
well, when it's the primary thing that you do, you could probably do it for 10 if you wanted.
Well, how does he make any money? How does
I don't know.
Pay his bills? That's what I'm wondering. For 2 hours a day, so it may not be 2 hours a day at a time, but 2 hours a day or more,
right,
over the course of an entire day, type of thing.
Exactly.
So, but he did that. Now, this is a guy that also, like I said, he's of iron will focus, and he owns the world record for pull-ups and a bunch of other things. And he runs 100-mile super marathons.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't do any of that stuff.
Like I said, he is a man of focus.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's like John Wick of the exercise world.
Right. That's pretty intense.
Anyways, so going back to what we were talking about, I know I made a huge tangent.
No, it's fine. All this information is key to. Here's the thing: when one when one ideal melds into another, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah,
as long as we don't lose each other, or one person's going what, then I think it's good, because I can circle right back around now to, and this will be the kind of the end of it for me, but we could talk about them more if we're fascinated by them. So really, I'm not even talking about Solomon now. I'm talking about the guy who wrote this book, I think, wrote this. Or do I have to go to it on the screen here? Sorry, I'm ill prepared. So he talks about the materials are no longer necessary, and I'm just going to go find it up here. Oh, I already had it up. This is the preface of the book. The translation of the first book of the I don't know what this word is, Lemegeton, Lemegeton, which is now for the first time made accessible to students of talismanic magic, was done after careful collation and addition from numerous ancient manuscripts in Hebrew, Latin, and French by G.H. Whatever his name is, by the order of the secret chief of the Roscurian order, the G.H. whatever that title is, having succumbed unhappily to the assaults of the four great princes, acting notably under martial influence, it seemed expedient that the work should be brought to its conclusion by another hand. The investigation what does that say? The investigation of competent scryer into the house of our unhappy, whatever this word is, FRA. What is that? That's some type of title. Confirmed his divination. Neither our Fra nor his hermetic mule were there seen, but only the terrible shapes of the evil adepts, SVA and H, whose original bodies having, and then it just goes to the next page, been sequestered by judges, were no longer of use to them. On this we stayed no longer our hand, but withdrawing ourselves and consulting the Rora and the books M and Q did decide to ask Mr. Aleister Crowley, a poet and skilled student of magical lore and an expert kabbalist, to complete openly that which had begun in secret. This is what is written. His it's his take. And again, a tetragrammaton. This is also that what he said. Nomen societum refertor and gura quas rex vitelate corruptio. I can't even read this. Some words. And he's saying, we wish you well. And given forth from our mountain of A, the day of CC 1903, after the death of Christ, it's the lesser key of Solomon. So now we've learned that Crowley helped pen this. But they do admit partially from older translations and books. Now I'm going to jump. We covered that with what this guy did is he conjured demons, and I can do it off the top of my head. Some of them knew about agriculture. Some of them knew about where treasure was hidden, as cheesy as it sounds. Some of them knew how to make two men fight and how to make two men make up. Some of them knew the future. Some of them knew just things that mostly things that I would say men would desire for some reason or another. These demons had the data or the get down, if you follow me. So that was the point of him conjuring these things. How did he ever know how to, is what I'm wondering. I guess I'd have to read the book or read more about him. But in his goēteía, is that how you say that? Goēteía? Is that goēteía?
I don't.
That's got to be just like a what was the other thing I called it? That's got to be like your
it could be goēteía,
goēteía. Yeah, it's got to be the same as your what's the other word they use when you write your book? That's sort of your own Bible, your own textbook for yourself.
Goēteía. That's how it is.
Is that how it's said? Okay.
Yep. Goēteía. Sorcery.
So the initiated interpretation of ceremonial magic. I'm not going to read through all this because I don't want to bore everybody to tears, but it's going into how ceremonial magic differs so much from religious practice and what they're telling you in the Bible. The ceremonial magic is obviously much more like you're cooking in the kitchen, trying to get something directly out of the oven. And sometimes that's a demon that's going to give you some type of knowledge or a way to go about doing something, some technology, information that you don't already have or may not have ever been aware of. Maybe nobody has. So I'm trying to find. Oh, here it is. This is the lesser key. I don't know why they call something the greater key or the lesser key. The lesser key, this is page 11. These consist of, number 1, sight, the circle, square, triangle, vessels, lamps, robes, implements, etc. 2, sound, the invocations. 3, smell, the perfumes. And what we're talking about here is getting people, a magic student or advanced magic magus even getting ready to do a complicated spell. Number 4, taste, the sacraments. 5, touch, and it just says as under with 1 in parentheses. And number 6, mind, the combination of all these and reflection on their significance. Now I'll read quickly this little chapter and then I'll be done. But this is what jumped out at me, because I've always had a fascination with this kind of thing, and I don't recall ever being led down a paragraph that made me think about things the way that they wrote this here. The unusual impressions 1 through 5 produce unusual brain changes. Hence, their summary, number 6, is of unusual kind. 6 being the mind, the combination of all these and reflections on their significance. This is the key to the spell. Herein then consists the reality of the operations and effects of ceremonial magic. And I can see that the apology is ample as far as the effects refer only to the phenomenon which appear to the magician himself. The appearance of the spirit, his conversation, possible shocks from imprudence, and so on, even to ecstasy and on one hand, and death or madness on the other. But can any of the effects described in this our book, Goēteía, be obtained? And if so, can you give rational explanation of the circumstances? Say you so. I can and I will. The spirits of the Goēteía are portions of the human brain. That's what it says here. Interesting, I think. So
Well,
basically, you're conjuring a forgotten, slumbering part of your brain that you have never used or use in a different state, or I don't know. I don't. This could mean anything. Reincarnation, all kinds of different shit. So I thought that was fascinating.
You had mentioned a little bit ago about where they got, the symbols and whatnot. So there's a guy who lived a while back. I was just looking this up on the Wikipedia. So Thomas Rudd made a copy of this manuscript called Officium Spiritum. About 1583 is when this
sounds familiar
manuscript was around. So it appears to have ultimately been an elaboration on a 15th century manuscript titled Leave de Spirit. I can't say this stupid name.
Is it to conjure the devil?
Pseudo Monarchia Daemonium and the Lesser Key of Solomon. Let me see here.
Oh, that's another lesser key.
It's Leave de Spirits. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Thomas Rudd made a copy of the Office of Spirits. The portion was labeled Liber Malorum Spiritum, say goēteía.
I wonder did we determine what goēteía means? Does it like mean book?
Sorcery.
Sorcery. Oh, it does. Okay.
Yeah. And the seals and demons were paired with those of the 72 angels of Hamephorash.
Okay.
It's all new words for me.
I mean, hey, we might be butchering them up, but let me hear somebody say them perfectly.
Yeah, well,
and then I'll do it that way.
If something happens in the meantime between now and tomorrow,
right,
it's all my fault for words.
And I'm doing it right here with you. I'm like, what does this mean?
Yeah.
What is that? How do you say this? Yeah. So anyways, keep going. This is interesting. So we've got another version now.
Well, no, it's not another version. It's just one continual version that's been either slightly changed or it morphed into something else. Right. Ultimately, it all ended up with Aleister Crowley writing some of this called the Book of Goēteía of Solomon the King. And part of it is the angelic names and seals were derived from a manuscript by Blaise de, I think it's Vinieri. It's Vigenère or Vigenère, whose papers were also used by Samuel Little MacGregor Mathers in his works for the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn.
Yes.
Rudd may have derived his copy of the Liber Malorum Spiritum from a now lost work by Johann Trithemius, who taught Agrippa, who in turn taught Weyer. It's all turning into Job begat Fred begat Barney.
Right.
Right.
Who's got the book?
Yeah.
Who did the book get left with? Billy's got the book. Which Billy? Big Billy or Little Billy?
Yeah. The portion of the work was later translated by this Samuel Liddell MacGregor Mathers and published by Aleister Crowley in 1904 under the title The Book of Wariness. Crowley added some additional invocations previously unrelated to the original work, including some evocations in the Enochian language, as well as essays describing the rituals as psychological exploration instead of demon summoning, which funny that came up because I didn't read this before you were doing your thing.
Mm-hmm.
When you said, hey, this may be more of an awakening of the brain than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an actual list of 72 demons from the Ars, from the book of sorcery.
Oh, I could probably name some of them for you right now and tell you what they do.
Differs in terms of number and ranking of the pseudo-monarchia demonium of Waite.
So what they're saying is you're going to get a little bit different account of names and symbols, and depending on where you're getting it from. So you might get Azrael or you might get Azazel. Is it the same demon? Who knows?
No, it is not.
You might get Balak or you might get Baal. Or they might even tell you this demon's name is pronounced this way and or this way. But it's normally all right around the number 72 or somewhere right in there. Have you noticed that? It's 72 over in the fake Necronomicon book. Which if you ever to see if I had a paperback of that, you go, oh yeah, here they did it again. Since it doesn't sound like you've ever seen that particular paperback, the one done by the imaginary guy Simon or whatever he calls himself. It's a direct rip off of this.
Yeah, there's just some interesting stuff. I'm gonna have to go through. I think we'll go through this list of demons when we get a chance to.
Sure.
But one of them, like President Hagente, he's a demon.
Yeah, he has a legion of 30 or something.
Yeah. What did he do?
Let me think. I was reading about him earlier. He, some of them do the same stuff as other people. What does he do? He comes out as a lion and then turns into a man, maybe.
No. I mean, what was his job?
What was his job as a demon?
Yeah.
Let me see. It was probably to tell you where lost treasure was buried and or let me actually really think here.
Very, very close.
Lost treasure or not agriculture. I can't remember now because I read a bunch of them today again. What is it?
So you're close, very, very close. Ruling 33 legions of demons. He's the great president of hell. He makes men wise by instructing them in every subject.
Every subject. Wow.
Transmutes all metals into gold.
Oh, he's a good one.
And changes wine into water and water into wine.
Oh, who does that remind you of?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't they even say he's still a good guy? There's a couple on there that they say he's still a good spirit. He's not even a bad guy.
Well, see, I always the terminology good and evil. I mean, there's good and evil, but when it comes to heaven and hell and stuff like that, that was created out of the sheer will of, well, we need to make a bad guy out of somebody because you always have to have the good with the bad, right?
Well, take a look at this. These might be the old gods are now the bad guys. That happens too sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have your Luke Skywalker to your Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Or Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Exactly. Isn't this stuff kind of fascinating, though? I think it is.
Yeah, but not, demons aren't evil in the terms of what people think they are. Like some of them just don't care about humanity. They just want to do their thing, and this is how they do their thing. And they're just
doing their job. They're doing their job.
Yeah. They go to work 9 to 5.
Yeah. They're not asking you to change anything.
And like this guy, Bodis or Otis, he is a president. I don't know, president and earl who initially appears as a viper before changing into a sword-toting, fanged and horned human who discusses matters past, present, and future.
Right. You're all, you're scaring the shit out of me.
That's weird. Let's have a discussion on history.
Right. You're like, God, have you seen the history teacher? Fuck.
Yeah. The guy turns into a snake.
He slithers into the room and then turns into a fucking Get your books out and turn to page 36.
Yeah. So you're like, okay.
That's put a whole new spin on Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yep.
In what way did the author's use of... You remember all those scenes in the beginning?
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Have
you ever...
Earl.
What's that?
Ipos is an Earl. He knows and can reveal all things, past, present, and future.
Mm-hmm.
Duke Aim.
Did they say vice president?
They have like presidents and vice presidents. The Marquis of Hell, that's Naberius. Yeah. He makes men cunning in all arts, but especially in rhetoric, speaking with a hoarse voice. He also restores lost puppies. I don't know. He's got his head is like a 3-dogged head with chicken legs.
Yeah, they got some weird ones. They got some weird ones for sure. They got the bird's head with the, I forget what one. Yeah, one's part man, part bird, part lion or something.
There's a dude on a camel.
Yeah, some of them are just dudes. They just ride up on an alligator or something.
Yeah, Orobus, who's got a horse head body man thing. Right. I don't know. He's weird looking. Count Murmur.
What if you wanted the demon where you could just turn into like a regular person, and you didn't get that day? You just got the guy who has ladybug wings and breathes fire and smells bad, and you're like,
yeah, you're like, hey man, can I get Furcus, who's a knight of hell?
This guy? That's funny you should bring that up. There are demons where you can call them, I read somewhere you could. It's these demons too. You go to invoke one of them, and if he doesn't show up, he'll send another one in his place.
Yeah, Furcus looks like a fat Gandalf.
Ooh.
And he teaches philosophy, astronomy, rhetoric, logic, chiromancy, and pyromancy. But okay. Yeah, hey, can I get this guy? And then you get, I gotta find one.
Pyromancy? Is that fire?
Yeah, pyromancy's fire.
That's enough for today. I gave you fire. Chill out.
Yeah. No, you get Malphus. Malphus is a mighty great president of hell. He looks like a crow walking around with a spade or a hoe, a shovel.
I wonder why.
He's probably
so imagine if this is all bullshit. How creative this is like this blows Dungeon Dragons away. You know what I mean?
Oh no, this is where they got all this stuff. There is a really cool. We'll have to go through this. There's a really cool article that was done for Dungeon Magazine, Dragon Magazine. Sorry, It's called "The Politics of Hell," and it goes through an entire storyline of how Satan has been kicked out, and he's missing, and Asmodeus had taken over hell through deceit and a bunch of other things. And Asmodeus is like the accountant,
right?
And, he's ruling hell like this way, as a CPA or whatever he is. And good.
No, I don't want to. I want you to finish what you're saying because I have something to add to this.
Well, anyways, the entire basis of this article is, where is Satan, and why did he get kicked out?
Right.
So
I've read. There's all the different versions from the different eras, but I've read ones like I've told you about the one where I read where Satan's actually locked in jail, or the ones where he got his butt kicked by Jesus, and then he's in jail. And I've read the one where he's like after the fall, he's just a rebel, like an outcast, like nobody has any respect for him anymore. That's one version. So I've read that before. I've also read that Beelzebub is the king. He's the big, high-ranking, and Lucifer's time has passed. Like Beelzebub's the heavyweight now. But can we take a break?
Give me just 1 second. Hold on a second.
Okay.
So there's Astaroth.
Yeah, he's big.
He is in the first hierarchy with Beelzebub and Lucifer. He's part of the evil trinity.
Astaroth.
Yeah, Astaroth.
His sigil is on my arm.
Asmodeus, come on, is king of demons, and they don't have them in like any sort of order. You got to kind of go through the list.
And you'll read different you'll read where someone has a different affinity for something in each place you go. There are going to be different claims. You'll see where Lucifer's an archangel, but then no, over here he's a seraphim. And then some people have him as, but some people have him as the first angel ever created. Some people have him as an afterthought at the end. So it just depends, I guess, on whose version, or it just makes it seem more and more unreliable, really, for me. I guess that's one place where I do need one storyline that I can put all my eggs in one basket, one belief system, one strong, powerful version that cannot be overlooked, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. So you have Astaroth, you have Beelzebub, you have Lucifer, right?
Mm-hmm.
In theological sources, predominantly Christian, Beelzebub is another name for Satan.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Lucifer,
Mm-hmm.
who, depending on your outlook, depending on your...
Lucifer is absolutely the fallen angel from heaven who got dad upset.
Yeah. He's the devil.
There's things where it's like there's the devil, there's Satan, and there's Lucifer, and they're all different. So again, it just depends. Like they've got the devil as a guy that come out with a briefcase and do a deal with you. They got that version. They've got the actual cloven hoofed and horns on his head, legend Tim Curry. They've got that version, and that would be Satan, I guess, or something. That's what I would imagine Satan to be like. And then they've got Lucifer, who's like one of the most beautiful creatures ever, I guess, was part of it. I don't know if you can refer to Lucifer as a boy or a girl, because I don't think angels have sex, but or have a sex, meaning male or female. But Lucifer was supposed to be beautiful or handsome or whatever the correct way to reference that is. Yeah. Just like something to behold for the eyes, I guess. I wonder too if it was taken from him as well. Him, her, whatever. Whatever angels are.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on how you want to interpret it, I guess.
Right.
Satan is the devil, sometimes called Lucifer, Beelzebub, whoever.
Right.
So, you said you wanted to take a break?
Yes, let's.
All right.
How much do we have? Half an hour?
We're an hour in.
Oh, should we do? Well, we haven't gone into any of your shit yet.
Oh, we can do all that later.
Okay.
I'm not worried about it.
Then you want to call it, or you want to do some more?
If you want to call it, we can call it.
Let's call it, because I'm tired.
I need to do Politics of Hell.
Are we going to pick this one up again? Because I'll do more research if we are.
Yeah, as soon as possible.
Okay, then I'll keep this paperwork in front of me.
It depends
where do you want to go with it? Do you want it to go now? I feel like I'm done with the Solomon part of it. I'm not that intrigued by that part anymore. Shall we continue on with the what are angels, what are demons?
Yeah, we're going to go with the 72 demons.
Okay. I like that. So I'll research that. I've never taken the time to actually read through them all.
Yeah, just go to the Wikipedia of Lesser Key of Solomon, and there's a list there.
Well, I've got the book right in front of me. I got every single description with this. I'll send over a picture. Did you happen to have the symbols?
No.
Oh, well, I don't know if you care or not. I can just PDF you the book if you want to look at it.
Yeah, I've got the symbols right here.
Okay. I mean, just that right there. I mean, so you imagine coming up with some, like you're making up this bullshit thing. You come up with a symbol and you're like, that looks pretty good. And then you come up with 72 fucking more of them. I mean, that's where you put some time and effort, and you just become what you're doing right now type of effort,
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to go through it, hey, this one looks like a trumpet, and this one looks like a...
Right, exactly.
Switch.
This one looks like silverware. Yeah.
Yeah, they all look like schematics.
They do, but I mean, at the same time, who knows? If we wrote all of our names down on a piece of paper, they'd look pretty kind of like something the same to somebody else, maybe, But
Well,
no, it's
every one of
probably
them has
it's completely bullshit, obviously. But
everyone has an iron cross.
do they?
Most, yeah. I'm going to say 90% of them.
Oh, I see what you're looking at here. Yeah. Yeah, they got ones that they got one that looks like a candle holder. They got one that looks like who knows.
That one looks like a pitchfork.
Yeah, they got one that looks like a clown face almost. They got one that
a rake.
I think it's funny that they have them. Oh, this one's got a goddamn pentagram right in it. I wonder who that is. Oh, it says right on it. That's Astaroth. Okay, so like you said, that's one of the heavy hitters right there.
Yeah.
Got the pentagram right in his shit.
But most of them have like the iron cross. If you look at them, like either upside down or right side up, doesn't matter.
I wonder what the significance of that is.
I don't know. My guess is because of. My guess would be because these are symbols that Crowley did, and if he was influenced at all by Germany during that time,
say he could have been a spy.
Yep.
Good point. Wow.
Because the Iron Cross,
these probably are Crowley symbols, huh?
Yeah, the Iron Cross is predominantly World War One. Or I'm not going to say that's when it came out, but
the Iron Cross was mostly showing up if you were a Knight's Death Head, I think. That was a pretty... I think if you had that on you, you were a pretty high-ranking officer, weren't you?
I believe so, yeah.
They didn't just dole those out.
Yeah, it was 1871 to 1918. It was a military decoration and used later on in World War II. We all know by who.
Yes.
But if you go by the date of publishing for Aleister Crowley, this falls right in the middle, 1871 to 1918 for the German Empire. And it was used by the Prussian army as well from 1871 to present. So it's not like it's
not been well documented.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. I had a brain fart.
They're certainly not getting it from Crowley. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it started off with the Franco-Prussian War from 1870, and then transitioned into World War I to World War II, and then there's a post World War II that they still have it.
So. I think symbols are a strong thing because probably from the very time that we were hitting each other over the head with, clubs and shit, and finally had some way to communicate beyond just, I don't know, fucking and eating and murdering.
Right.
Somebody drew something on the ground and was able to do it more than one time.
It's a plus.
Yeah, whatever it was, and that oh my god, the human brain just exploded for the first time into another realm of consciousness.
It was a skull and a gear, because every other damn logo has a skull or a gear in it from,
right? No shit. No shit, huh?
Okay. A skull, a gear, and some sort of
that's so true that some things are just like there's like no shame whatsoever in I'm just got my version of that now.
Yeah.
Not even pulling any punches. Well, my lightning bolt insignia thing has Gatorade flavoring on it. You know what I mean?
My lightning bolt goes to the left. Yours goes to the right.
Right. Like, they're not even talking about the fact that they're all just doing the same thing. It's just, which way does yours point and what color scheme?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right.
All right. That wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. Okay.
That was an hour. Felt like
I want to say the same thing. And we were hitting a good patter. And so, yeah, I bet when they go through one of these books in college, it takes a whole goddamn semester or something, probably.
Oh,
or maybe not. I don't know. Because what are we looking at here? We would be looking at, not that much. So this one, we're only talking 97 pages if you wanted to read this one cover to cover. That's not too bad. Yeah.
All right.
All right, buddy. So we'll pick it up tomorrow.
Yep.
All right. Love you, man.
Yeah.
Have
Love
a
you
good-
too.
All right. Have a good night.
All right, man.
All right. Bye-bye.